You're a professional. Believe in Canada. Believe. Sorry about that, everybody. I was lost for a moment, but I am now back and more believing than ever. Everything's fine. Angel Joe get themselves a victory on game number 4. Congrats. They will be making their way to finals this weekend. One game left to settle it all. One final spot on that battle bus heading to the finals. Kelly, there's still some really big names that have not earned that spot, and we'll have one final game to do it.
Speaking of big names, it's not just Angel and Joe, it's Angel and Batman Joe. I was wondering who was this Joe, but it's Batman, keeping on the legend of Batman Booga in the best names that Fortnite has to offer. So I just wanted to clarify that for a second. Good job to Angel and Batman Joe. But regardless, we have other people to talk about. I wonder who it could be. Oh, maybe Kanata. So, Kanata, really good game as far as what we've seen them do for taking height and controlling it. I thought that this was the best that they have ever looked, but Vivid, you called me out when I said that earlier, that they took so much damage trying to take high ground.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it came down to, I believe it was like 3 teams left. Of course, you know, Kanata and Sphinx, and they had Joe in the mix as well. And then we kind of saw a scare play spoiler towards the end. So they kind of started to feel a little bit confident, right? They was like, all right, listen, we've gotten all the way to the end game. We're duo, we're healthy. Let's go ahead and try to take the higher ground. But as soon as they went up, you could see how low they are. They took so much damage from Scare in the mix. And unfortunately, like MDF kind of called out, they lost track of Scare. They had no idea where he went. And even though he was in the storm, had no chance of making it back in. He kind of goes down as he gets one singular shot off and takes out Sphinx. But take a look at these guys' placement so far. I mean, 9th, 2nd, 5th, another 2nd in the mix. I mean, their average placement right now is 4.5. They're playing so well, but they are not playing well for this specific format. The only thing that matters is the win, and they have yet to get one, and only one game left. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. Like, again, props to their play, right? If this was finals, they'd be like top 5, top 3, whatever that may be, right? Yeah. This would be so good. But again, the only thing that matters in the LCL is that victory royale. 2nd place is not good enough. We've also seen other duos performing well, right? Like Scare as well and G Money. We've seen these performances, you know, and we have a final game, one last game. So many these duels are thinking the same thing, man. If I don't make it now, it's over. I have to take it to the last chance major, which is fine, Kelly, but
no, it's not.
I mean, it's not, right? You're right, it's not.
You do not want to have to go through that because there's just so many question marks. You want to make sure that you're in the lobby that you're used to, and that is going to be the Grands lobby, and that's exactly where G Money and Scare are looking to right now. And honestly, you know, we say that they had this one good game, but it's these teams that are having multiple good games that I just have to feel for right now. They get a 6th place at the start of the day, and then of course a 3rd place in that last game right there. So close to being able to make their way into Grands, but just missing the mark. However, we have seen consistent success from Scare and G Money. I think they need to just keep doing what they're doing in order to come out on top.
I mean, you can see their placements there. I mean, doing so well. Obviously, another team that we kind of talked about entering the show here today was Miro and Osid. We were kind of talking up Miro, right? A bunch of FNCS titles under his belt, a bunch of grand finals appearances for him. And the big question was this new duo going to be enough to go ahead and qualify through this last chance lobby for the duo? I mean, they have not picked up a win so far. And honestly, Kelly, looking at their match history, they haven't actually broken into the top 10 a single time in these first 4 games. Is game 5 going to be any different for them?
But that is the beauty of the last chance lobby. You don't have to perform well. You could be getting 50th place every single game, which would be very difficult because teams drop, so it should be 50th and then 49th. But anyway, you could be making it last every single game. But if you are able to get into that final game, clutch out a win, that is all that matters in this lobby today. And if anyone can do it, wouldn't it be amazing if it's Miro and Osid?
But there's other names, right? Wouldn't it be Kanata, right, to keep that streak alive? So many names, but only one spot right here, right now, with one final shot. Who will find themselves in that seat heading to finals this weekend? Let's find out. Casters, for the last time today, take it away.
As it stands, Monster, 46 teams are still hoping to keep their FNCS Major 2 alive. You guys can call this Game 5. I'm going to call this the last dance of the last chance. And hopefully one of these teams can keep their dreams going.
Yeah, pretty tough position to be in. Obviously, the desk is pretty split on who we want to see go through the finals. I'm sure the fans at home are also rooting for their favorite teams. But hey, in the end, only the best will push through. But the chances are it is going to be someone who is very much worthy. I feel like there's someone out there that's about due for a win.
Yeah, legacies are looking to be continued, but if you're one of those teams that have yet to reach an FNCS Grand Final, this is your moment. It is literally Game 5. After today, you got to sit back and watch with the rest of us as Grand Finals unfolds. Spots at Global Championship are still up for grabs as well, so this is just, could be the start, some would say, of some of these players' journey.
Yeah, most definitely. You saw last game, new team just jump in out of nowhere and secure that win regardless of how consistent you've been playing here today. Well, with that, I heard the battle bus. I'm ready for the last chance.
With one game left here, it really all goes down to this. A victory royale is a must. It doesn't matter if you have the most eliminations on the day. It doesn't matter if you got the most damage throughout the course of today. All that matters if you are one of 5 teams to actually win a game. And right now for Kanata and Sphinx, uncontested again, gives good hopes for their legacy.
Yeah, definitely. You saw how close they've come time and time again. Just something different, of course, is occurring time after time. But what I can appreciate most is the adjustment, is the ability to be malleable, try to do something different every single game. For now, though, this little fight here for Ultra and Diego, we saw them take their last game very far. Although they have to have dealt with ZXZ, of course. This time around, both sides disengaging, not looking to really, again, throw this opportunity away. Looking at the feed, though, already 3 teams down and out. Chances in Dreams being crushed here tonight. So we're starting to approach the late stages of the beginning.
Z just tries to turn back for a short second. His position is revealed, and Troy's trying to go in and get the elimination, and he finally does. Maybe a little bit of help from Diego plays, but Ultra and Diego are able to squash their competition at Latte Landing yet again. They may have run into a little bit of struggles, so we might be looking at their Storm Surge later on in the game, but at least they're putting their best foot forward here.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about that, you know, Wiggs has had a lot of success in the early game, but his HP is pretty low right now. 1-ups, Ben did it. L and Sus right now just trying to see what they can make happen. Wiggs is hiding out in a bush. I was gonna say, there's no way he doesn't suspect that he's in there. A blind shot gets him the tag. Oh, he must be feeling pretty rewarded after that one. And again, it doesn't matter how consistent you've been. All that matters is you are, if you are alive and in the race for the win now. Bucky and Cam kind of had a similar story as well. We haven't really seen them been able to take flight. They had one game where they were almost starting to make it happen, but Cam just couldn't convert on the critical elims that he needed. Will this be his chance?
Just like them, a lot of teams in this game probably feeling the pressure here. This literally being the last game to keep Major 2 going for them. You got Drew and Chris, and again, surviving off of their drop. They did get one elimination, though, so it wasn't without a fight. With that one elimination, you know that solo players probably scouring around, trying to find loot of their own. It's Beg and Egg and Peace on the other side, just off the edge of that mountain, trying to hide behind that rock. Right now, Drew does have a bird's eye view. It's just, can he see it?
Take a look at Light and Cyclops after getting eliminated early last game. Actually have a chance now to get back into things still, though. Just a single elim, not quite done. The job's not finished here. This is payback, though, for the last round.
Almost seems a little bit of a surprise contestation. Blanks and Mako going here uncontested all day long. Cyclops and Light, they were at Wonky Land. They had a contested fight of their own against Cole and Ruins. This game around, though, they're changing things up. Rightfully so. If it's not working, You only have one opportunity left. Changes are going to be a must. And so far, it puts them in a little bit more of a driver's seat than some of the other games that we played so far. One elimination. They may not know exactly where Mako's at, but they know he's got to be somewhere. With the zone not too far away, they have all the time in the world to just park the bus and wait.
See, Cyclops a little hesitant to get involved because he could potentially get pieced up. He only has a single build. He doesn't know that Mako is also down to just 2 as well. The Storm's going to start the timer for everyone. The clock is ticking. Cyclops and Light are going to start feeling the pressure of that. We have a med kit, but I don't think there was more than one. There it is. Light starts to move out, leaving Cyclops, who of course has that med kit to stand by and stay on watch. No one Mafia on the other side, saw them go somewhat the distance there, really putting up a hero's effort.
Even Noah plays in Mafia. Changing things up. We saw them in a couple of fights earlier on in the overall tournament at this exact drop. But you know, when Moneymaker and Fortnite win a game, they were here uncontested. You can kind of get the drift. Multiple teams probably saying, hey, maybe we could go ahead and grab it to ourselves. But when everybody has that same idea, it does make it crowded. This time around, Noah plays. Sticking to the strategy, though. Miro and Osid over at Sunken Shores. Again, another one of our uncontested fights. And this is a team I was kind of expecting so much more from. Not even necessarily because of Miro and his long-standing history, but more so because of Osid and how good him and G-Money have been playing from Sunken Shores. Unfortunately, they didn't qualify out of the play-ins, didn't make it to the heats. They went their separate ways, so I was just expecting a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm following the same tune there, you know. Osid, again, is someone who is extremely experienced. Not to say Mero isn't, but taking so much time away, you'd expect him to have a hard time, right? It's only right. Dragon, Creon. Creon has really been the star of this duo here, at least today. Big shot coming in from the distance there. It's unfortunately a missed Bacon, but no sweat, no problems.
Yeah, they gotta be careful right there. The bank shot pistol. It's not necessarily the headshot or even the body shot that you have to worry about, even though a body shot does about 100 damage, give or take. It's more so the bank shot at 170 to the body. We saw both of them there, standing there kind of in the open. Less than 170, that would have been a knock and definitely an opportunity to kind of change things up just a little bit. Jump on board crazy and exhale. One elimination here so far to start the game. And they're a team, in Heat 2, they were, again, a little bit outside of consistency. 26 overall, which includes those 5 Victory Royale winners. So you know they have already a little bit of experience in this style of lobby. But I'm just not sure how much experience they have going into the last game of the day, which kind of has your whole entire season on the line.
Take a look at this. Sphinx and Kanata going for a big rotate right now. They have a lurking team in the bush. It's Magma and Void, a very solid duo. Shots come in. Okay, not close enough to get boxed up and put out, but a couple tags go through to set them back ever so slightly. Kanata's been on the losing side of the storm so far today, as the pools have been working against them. Last game, it was looking so promising, and then zone after zone just made it increasingly difficult. They had to play for it. So then Zifta not looking to wait around too long on the edge here. Already using those critical shockwaves to rotate.
Yeah, and even though a couple of shots like that, you saw Zype to take a little bit of damage. In one instance, it's really not too much to worry about, but as you see Soneto getting tagged up yet again, 10 damage here, 20 damage there, it continues to add up over time. And some of these teams today, you have seen them kind of struggle with Storm Surge, barely being above that damage threshold, kind of in desperation mode, and then that max pull kind of compounds on top of that, make it harder for you to play that little bit of catch-up that you're going to need. So that's why I feel like you kind of see certain teams playing a slower pace game this time around. And they don't want to bite off more than they can chew at any one of these moments. You even see the scanner going down for Scare. and G Money, making sure they're just not getting lurked on by anybody else. Sitting by the mending machine, sometimes that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, definitely. But they're the ones being very vigilant right now. Scanners, of course, giving them that extra detail. Let's see it though. All the early shockwaves. This is really interesting that we're seeing teams really play for kind of center and clear positioning into this last game. Almost a lot earlier than I feel like we've watched anyone else rotate. Diego, Ultra, back into another fighting stance here. Just can't catch a break on their rotate so far. It's to the hands of Cold and Ruins, a very, very sound team like we talked about. They've rotated, they've gone ahead to the mending machine.
Sometime for these teams, it's kind of like a multi-step journey. Just making it to the zone is just step one. Hitting that mending machine and getting healed up is step two. But you can kind of see in that kind of altercation there, even though there wasn't necessarily damage being traded off, kind of forcing them to kind of skip a step or dig into their chug jugs, early resource. Kanata and Sphinx, you're kind of seeing why they rotated when they did. They're trying to beat a lot of those other teams that are coming in and stacking up, not only the north side, but the western edge of the zone as well. We do have a decent amount of time until it does close, but for Kanata and Sphinx, there's a lot of opportunity here for them to try to get damage on anybody else that tries to rotate in their direction.
Yeah, no one's showing themselves just yet, though. No one positioned behind them either, so it'll be pretty quiet here in the moments to come. But this storm surge is going to start to turn on. We're going to start seeing the warnings flash here. Osid, Marrow, no elims just yet. I like the positioning, though, and they pulled the zone for the most part. So this is looking pretty decent for them at the moment.
I would say that's kind of like the tough part about kind of pulling the zone for the most part. If you don't get the initial shots and anybody kind of rotating in, they're going to box up in brick, in metal, kind of take different locations just like this to where you're not going to get those same chances again and again and again. So you got to take them while they come. See Cyclops and Light rotating in from that southern part to the map, and they're kind of feeling the pressure here. They're rotating in towards Shake and Sanctuary, and if they don't watch their back, you see how many teams are currently around that spot in the actual POI, and there's even one more coming from the south side that could potentially lurk on them.
Yeah, Hari's kind of situation and Civs here is looking really solid as far as like the overall heals and whatnot, but they are going to have to leave this comfortable base that they've set up right now. Seems like they were hoping someone was going to come for the vending machine, but no one's interested just yet.
We knew this positioned already. Scare and G-Money kind of held it down. They had scanners here. They had all the information in the world. And they actually positioned themselves perfectly right above that zip line, knowing if anybody's going to come up here, they have to move up that zip line as a solo, because it does take a few seconds to reset. So they immediately strike one down. The second one tries to go in. They strike him down as well. 2 straight eliminations, and we saw them before this position. You can see over 1,000 mats already on Scare. They don't necessarily need the loot. This is just that little extra boost. You know when you get an ice cream sundae and you get the cherry on top.
Yeah, they made that one look nice and easy. They made that one look nice and easy. Picking up 2 fresh elims like that. Well, the zone's unfortunately going to pull very far from them, though, Jacob. They are going to just have to leave all those extra goods behind and try to make their way up here. This is pulling back to the Frosted Flats. And now if you're Kanata and Sphinx, you're probably thinking, man, we gave up that nice little bit of high ground. Here they're finding themselves sort of in the mix, but again, this is their general drop, so they have a good lay of the land here.
Yeah, you can kind of see the Sky Base, or I should say Surge Tower, just a little bit too far in the distance, going to be out of zone, so they don't want to revisit that location and have to shockwave off, especially only being 60 at one point or another above the damage threshold. This position here gives them a whole range of view, 360 degrees all around for all these teams struggling to kind of make their way in. It's Gonna allow them to land a couple of shots, continue to build that surge, but then they get gifted again another zone. So these are two back-to-back games when you're looking at it. Frosted Flats, it is the drop spot. It's where the zone is at. Kanata and Sphinx, this is a must.
Yeah, this time it's not a max pull, these first two zones, so that by itself is going to save them a lot, but I'm not seeing the same amount of loadout, right? They were very healthy as far as like had an abundance of extra heals to work with last game, and that all went to waste on the rotate. So a little bit give and take here. Not as good of a situation loadout wise as the last round, however, much more of a favored zone pull. If that continues to go through, it'll look very good for them. Dragon and Creon on the other side. Like I said, I couldn't help but just highlight how good of a teammate Creon has been so far. We just see a little bit more from Dragon. This team is going to continue to push and go the distance. So far, it's looking very good for them as Dragon has continued to show us life. 2 elims in his counter there. Here we have it.
Just kind of seeing the zone and kind of lay of the land all the way from the tip top to the southern end as Mira and Osid find their first elimination of the game. We kind of saw where that from on the line to almost 400 above that damage threshold. 20 players do need to go down, so it's not going to stop anytime soon. So you need to still be proactive. As of now, with that extra bit of loot, they already got a full made box. I don't need to make any rash decisions here. Just kind of formulate a little bit of a plan. If it goes out south, be ready to shockwave here. If it goes north, be ready to shockwave here. Bucky and Cam probably trying to do the same thing, but they're all the way on the northern edge.
They're going for high ground though. They're already starting to posture up. This is before the zone even reveals itself. A little early, but again, they will be able to shock right off and get to some fast positioning here. Oh, they spotted him? Are you kidding us?
Maybe they just can't. Maybe they can't. It's too thin. It's too thin. Oh no.
He had to give it up.
Kiki.
Bucky and Cam, you
Side
are
note,
on the list
that
for
team
sure, buddies,
fuck
for that
up
one.
and
But all
heat.
things, it must continue. Either way, Bucky and Cam probably had to fight him. Let's just go ahead and rid the biggest problem
not
in the
die
lobby
by
first.
bad
Everything
damage
else kind
in
of
the OD
small
game.
fry from there on out. But what they're
And
doing as well
dang,
is kind of
I should
easing up the
see.
pressure of that happening to anybody
That
else
team
in
maybe
the lobby
made
in the
final.
worst case scenario if they do go down. Kanata and Sphinx kind of looking, they're not too far away. Ever since they went south from Frosted Flats and then worked their way back on up, that's going to put them right in the center of the zone. So they could potentially one shockwave their way there just like this and rebox up so they don't take too much damage.
I'm just thinking how the observers were like holding that one for us once again, trying to hit us with a surprise. So close, yet so far from a very interesting ending. Nonetheless, though, it's still going to be very interesting. Only one team can now, again, walk away with a qualification spot. It's the win and you're in format. Dragon, Creon, starting to look really solid here. Eyeing up the second height, eyeing up the mid ground right now. Here we have it. Endgame is near. Old zone here for Muss and Pentabot. They're the only team kind of set up right now to possibly go for an early high ground. Bucky and Cam on the ultimate low. This is not what Bucky and Cam promised us.
It's still soon. 8th zone. Probably have the idea in their mind. Just like possibly Osid and Mero. Let a lot of those teams battle it out. Let them expend material for that high ground early. We'll go ahead and fall under the radar, conserve our material the best that we can, and kind of strike when we can. As Muss and Penta doing a good job holding it down. Anybody that flew near their location, tried to fly past the high ground, did take some sort of damage. It's Kanata and Sphinx underneath, staying to the low ground right now. That's going to be the game plan for Kanata and Sphinx. And they're a team that they don't necessarily care about pride. As long as they make it to the grand finals, they're happy.
Sphinx and Kanata almost ended up in that opponent's box, but he just so happened to get ahead of them. Bucky and Cam, as I was starting to yap there, go for second height. Now they're positioning up, trying to give us that entertaining endgame, but Creon and Dragon have been slowly making their way to. There goes the split of the shockwaves, just making sure both of them have them. Cam, Bucky, though, finding another secured elimination here. A lot of material comp. It's going to start adding up here, depending on what Calipper has. There's that max material. Okay, this is going to start giving a wave of confidence here.
Yeah, if they can somehow chop down height just a little bit, they have enough materials to just full send it upwards. But Must and Penta doing a good job controlling the rest of the lobby down below, not giving too many open opportunities to look up. Miro taking a few scratches because of the zone. A worthwhile sacrifice, eating the storm damage to get a better position. Almost a no-brainer considering the materials, as Kanata and Sphinx get a few pre-edits in. They're pushing Scare down, drop down to a sliver of HP altogether. Sphinx is going to get that knock, so they are going to be able to clean up that elimination.
Here it is. Cam starting to target the high ground here. Breaks a couple of those key structures. Here comes the shockwave across to reposition up. G-Money recognizes it's happening as well. Penta fighting for the refresh here, but Cam and Bucky start to strike, and they time it perfectly. They're uncontested up top. There's the elimination. A fresh set of material to the hands of Cam. Finally, they have something to work with, but it's barely holding on here.
Yes, he sends it raw by himself towards that high ground. Inadvertently put himself in a 1v2 situation. As Kanata and Sphinx go down, one of the most legendary streaks in Fortnite history has just come to an end. But it's an opportunity. Miro is back, and he's going for the high ground along with Osid. They're ready to take the fight against Bucky and Cam. Osid takes way too much damage. He is definitely forced to slow his roll. Bucky returns back on up to the high ground, but he eats a mouthful of damage. Miro goes down, but now Cam is stuck left by himself.
Oh my gosh, what a monster shot from Cam to turn this one around, and then he follows up with the clutch battle. That matters for him. This tournament is still alive. The opportunity is still at hand here. He's trying to kind of configure this space here, but it has come with a huge price. And look at that in the distance. You can just see it's held up by a wood wall. All of this build barely has a structure, but it doesn't matter. There is so much at play here, Jacob.
He might even be able to reconnect. Cam might be able to put himself in a good spot. Just gotta hope all the duos down below run into so many troubles. The Tick and Liam, you can see them running out of materials, 2 eliminations, trying to give themselves a chance to look up. But don't want to perfectly kind of play into somebody else's hands. Layer by layer, they're lurking around to try to see what they could grab. Even Chris and Drew alive here in the last game. This is the last dance. 9 teams left alive, Monster. 4 of them are stuck as solos.
This is it. Whoever is left as a duo obviously has the better chances to go and push their way through. I'm still seeing Dragon alive and potentially Creon there as well, but Liam is going to be the first to fall. It's all up to Tick's hands now as well. So many solos standing. I mean, you wasn't lying. And they're trading and exchanging now, and another duo falls there. And I mean, this is looking like it might be a walk in the park here.
It's just
for
not that
Cam
much
from the
easier.
high ground.
It just got that much easier. All solos left alive. Nobody has a chance to really look up because of it. Cash is healing off the backside of zone. He is definitely being put on a clock here. How much do you have left in those chug jugs? Cam is using this as an opportunity to potentially drop down, but he's just trying to get a better bird's eye view. The Tick, the first of 4 eliminated here in this game. Cash is still down below. Another player down there with him, and he's finally looking up at the Cam. I'm not sure he's high enough. Shockwaves won't do it, but a chop definitely will. Cam Shockwave's deep in his zone. He's going for the mending machine, Monster.
He's definitely playing a little side angle here. Cash is seeing it, but he can't lose focus. Avoid from low ground. Cam comes back. He says, forget the mending. I need to fight for it, but no! Loses the important tag. Void gets the siphon, and he does have a little bit of heals, but Void just trying to assess the situation and hits the monster's shot. And just like that, he'll send himself to the grand finals.
Void and Magma. These guys got 4th place in the last chance qualifier to make it here in the last chance lobby. They were 5 placings out of qualifying from grands through heats, and now they punch their ticket into the grand finals.
Congratulations to the duo. That final seat goes to them, and now they have to turn attention to that finals time. Spots going to the global championships. How much more difficult that lobby, that setting will be. But again, congratulations to them.
I mean, we saw how many new duos were formed for the Last Chance lobby,
Game-
but that is not the case for Void and Magma.
Game
They have been
folk.
competing since the start of this
Didn't
season
need to
together.
win
They
that.
competed in Major number 2 together for the Opens. And so to see them stick it out and then make it all the way to this Last Chance lobby and then get the final win, that is a beautiful story. And what a better way to end that story, Vivid, than placing and making it to the Global Championships?
Well, listen, you want to talk about that story, Kelly. You want to talk about full circle. We started the day with a solo clutch, a solo win. And what better way to kind of end this day as well, this Last Chance lobby with not only a solo clutch, but what felt like a solo lobby. All these solos kind of running around to kind of make it happen. Magma kind of forced to go ahead and probably bite his nails there, watching Void try to go ahead and clutch up the qualification. But sure enough, Void as a solo gets it done. I mean, listen, he had to fend off Cam, who looked like he was in a very good position. But as soon as Cam went down, Void had so many materials, so many resources to kind of work with. At the last shot, it was easy. And Kelly, Void and Magma, each of them will be going to their 4th FNCS Grand Finals.
Ooh, 4th. That's a good start. That's a good number to make it as a, starting to break into the top tier, the tier 1 pros out there. So Void and Magma trying to make a name for themselves now, making it to their 4th grand finals. And to see it as a solo, love to see it. So many incredible winners today. And as you said, Zeke, obviously some heartbreak that's going to be coming out through as well, because although we do have 5 incredible winners, that does mean that 45 teams, unfortunately, are going to be ending their run from Major 2 here. But Zeke, speaking of those winners, we got something we got to talk about.
That's right. We can take a look here at our winners. Can't forget Shadow Virgo got themselves that early victory royale. Madden and Chance picked up game number 2. Game 3, Moneymaker, Fanayan, Angel and Joe, game 4. And then finally, Void and Magma round out that final game. And Void and Magma did come close back in game 3, rather. They did hit 2nd place. So very cool to see them in that last game come back and get themselves the victory royale. Okay, Fun Zeke's gone. Sad Zeke is here. Canada did not qualify. This is really tough. This is really tough. Obviously, nothing but respect to Canada. Literally a GOAT, one of the best players Fortnite has ever seen, a legend, so like a veteran, so well decorated. But for the first time, Canada will not be making it to an FNCS finals. This is really tough, Kelly. This is super tough.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously, we don't want to talk about all the negatives and everything, and we do want to be happy for all the teams that went their way through. But to see Canada not be able to make his way through in this giant storyline of being the only player in the world to make it to every FNCS Grand Finals, but I think potentially a spin on it is that this is a good example as to just how much more competitive NAC has been recently. I know that there's always the argument of EU versus NA, and yes, I mean, just like the pool of players in EU is just that much better. But I think when it comes to our like tier 1s and tier 2s, that they really are upping their game and they're starting to be able to put on a big fight. And so when we see players like Canada go down and not make it into grands, I think it's because everyone else is starting to step up.
Listen, Canada, he should still hold his head high because, yes, he had that streak going, he had that record going. But honestly, when you just take a look at him making it to 30 total FNCS finals, right? I think he is still towards the top of that leaderboard as well. So there's still a record kind of held there for Canada in his own right. And listen, I hope to kind of see him in that Last Chance Major to potentially still qualify to globals.
Listen, and it's fine, right? Even if we lose this title, Canada just needs to go on, become a global champion, and then everything's fine. Everything is redeemed. That's what we're playing for, right, Canada? Right? That's what I'm going to hope and believe in my heart of hearts. Fortnite fam, that wraps up the LCL. Next stop for us is finals of Major number 2. We're looking to qualify more players onto the global championships or give out some more axes. So much more to play for. Kelly, Viv, I'd love to give you guys the floor here before we start saying goodbye. Anything you'd like to say?
Grand finals can't be in a couple of days, right? Didn't we just start this? It's so crazy that Major 2 is almost over already, and then to think that we have the last chance major, and then EWC, and then globals. Everything's happening so quickly, so fast. So I don't know, everyone lock in, man, because we got some crazy couple of months of Fortnite coming your way.
This team should win.
Amongst the heats and amongst this last chance qualifier here, just the day-to-day drama that's kind of been going on for how Grand Finals is expected to go. It has been building. Yes, we do have a couple of days until Grand Finals, but those storylines are building. I'm excited to see these specific 50 teams kind of join the same exact lobby for 12 total games over the course of Saturday and Sunday to see how it all breaks down, crown a new champion, and send some teams to the Global Championship.
Man, I cannot wait. That is just a few days away, right? This weekend we will be here Saturday and Sunday. Don't forget, EU is before us as well. Go over, check out their games, cheer on those teams. A lot of crazy things happening there as well. So until then, Fortnite fam, we love you. Keep yourself safe. And we'll see you on that battle bus.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep.